So in this video we're going to go over installing the one rig ice scratcher on a Polaris Matryx 146. This is going to cover your assaults, your XCs and your SPs, and even the SKS and Voyager. So for this year, a couple new things on the 146. As with all of our scratchers this year, we have a replaceable tip, and on the 146 we have 3 storage options. One is your base model drilled hook. So you're going to drill a hole in your rail for that storage hook. Your next tier up is going to be the XC upgrade, we call it, which is a bolt-on storage bracket that bolts right onto your rail and has threaded holes for the hook. This bolts right onto a bare rail. So if you have a rail brace, like what comes with the Assault, this does not work unless you take that rail brace off. So keep that in mind. And then the top tier is going to be a whole new one rig machined rail brace to replace the factory rail brace or rail stiffener. So in any case, the first thing you're going to do is install the actual ice scratcher. So you have in your kit, you'll have a couple aluminum machined mounting brackets. One will be thicker. It'll have this machine profile. You'll see that fits right into the rail right there. And the other side, the other one is thinner, and it has a little machined angle here, and that's going to point towards the rear of the sled. And that's going to go on the inside of the rail. Then you have your scratcher bolt with the tapered retaining plug here. So you're just going to drop that into your spring like this. Then you can align the bolt hole and the spring with a smaller hole. And then we'll drop that into the rail, hold that in place. On the back side, take your thinner bracket, put it over the bolt. Then you can take your 3/8 nylon lock nut and start that by hand in the back. Once that catches, you'll take a 15mm on the back side to hold that nut, and then 15 in the impact. And you're just gonna tighten that down until it catches. You don't have to do anything crazy there. You should be able to grab your spring, yank it, and if you're looking at the base of that spring is not moving. So that's exactly what we want. What we don't want is to tighten it so much that the scratcher rotates like this. Because then if you, say you come off a jump, your scratcher's scratching, you get some air, it springs forward to a relaxed state. If you're over tightened and that relaxed state's up here, you could catch the ground. If you get unlucky and you catch the ground, it could just jam this up and bend it, which is not what you want. So install it just tight enough so when you grab it, nothing's moving, and this is pointing rearwards or even straight down, something like that. So anywhere in here is a good spot for that to be at rest. Now your scratcher is installed. Next thing we're going to do is install the storage option. So the first storage option we have this year is the drilled hook. This is the most inexpensive route you can go, but does require drilling. So if you have an XC or an SP, super simple because you don't have this rail brace to contend with. So basically you're just going to take your spring here, you can bend it up, and then on your rail you'll be able to see right about in here is where you want to drill that hook. So bend this up, mark that location with a Sharpie. If you have an Assault, what you're going to want to do is you keep your rail braces on here, and you have this machined slot in your rail brace right here. Basically just right dead center of that slot, take a Sharpie, mark dead center, and that's where you're going to put that hook. So in this case, this rail is already drilled, so I'm not going to do the actual drilling here. But to just walk you through it, mark that with a Sharpie, take a center punch, punch that location, pilot drill it, maybe 1/8 inch, and then you're going to drill it out 5/16 for the actual hook. Now if you're mechanically inclined and you have the right tools, A better option or another option is to drill that with a 5/16 by 18 thread tap drill and then tap it 5/16, and that'll be a more secure connection. But again, you don't need that. So once you have that hole drilled 5/16, you can take your hook. It's gonna have a split tooth lock washer. Take one nut, wind it all the way on, drop one lock washer on. Then you have your second lock washer in nut. Put that in. Then from the back side, put on your other nut and start the thread by hand. And once you catch that, you can take a 13 millimeter socket, and you can grab the hook with your hands to start with until it gets too hard. And once you start to catch that, you're going to need to grab that hook. I'm just going to take another box wrench here and cheap, but pliers, vice grips, anything really will help you grab that and keep it from spinning on you. And snug that down. And then you're going to want to test it and make sure it actually goes in without binding up in your rail brace. So in this case, I'm too close, so we'll back that out a little bit. And then voila, drops right in just like it should. So that's your install on a switchback assault with your drilled hook. The next option, which is great and highly recommended if you have an XC or an SP, is to use this storage bracket. The base kit with a drilled hook is $135. This kit with two of these brackets, $155 in bare aluminum. So you're paying $20 to save yourself a big headache and get a much better storage solution. So we'll go ahead and we'll take this hook back out. And we'll take off the rail braces. Now if you're going with the actual rail, their Wonder Design rail brace, you're going to take off your factory rail braces anyway. And from factory, the bolt holding that on is going to be a Torx head. I've already replaced the bolts here with a hex head, which comes with your one rig rail braces. The hex head's a stronger bolt, and it's much easier to maneuver than a Torx bit. Got that rail brace off. So on an XC, your bump stop's gonna look different. It's gonna look like this guy here. So that's your factory setup on an XC or SP. And your storage bracket is gonna use this hole here and the hole right here where this fastener is. Take that fastener out, and you can put this in place take the bolt that comes with the kit, put it through the front hole, align the rear hole, like that, and take the nylon lock nut on the back side on that front bolt, and that's going to be a 13 on the back. And then you'll take your Allen on the front. I believe that's a 5 millimeter Allen. Take that, tighten all this up. I'm not going to actually tighten it up here because I'm going on the next step and doing the rail brace, but tighten that up. Wrench tight, nice and snug. Same with this one, tighten that up, nice and snug. Then take your hook. You got your nut, your lock washer. Put it into the threaded hole as far as you can go. And then take your nut, hold your hook, take your nut, tighten that down. Again, this one's loose because I haven't tightened the back up, so we're taking it right back off. Then you can go and store your scratcher just like that. This kit works fantastic. Really like this setup. So again, that's your XC upgrade, is what we call it. Highly recommended for the XC and SP sleds. So we'll take this back off here and move on to the rail brace. Alright, so now if you're upgrading to the rail brace, which is great for the assault guys, it's an easier install, rugged rail brace, looks great, or it's also a fantastic upgrade for the XC and SP sleds. These are way less expensive than what Polaris charges for their rail stiffener or rail brace. Again, so it's a great option for all Matryx 146 sleds, really. And it's going to come with your rail brace and your mounting hardware. So you have your bolt, a flat washer, and a lock washer. Put that through the back side, this hole here, and this hole back here. Put it on loosely at first because it takes a little bit of manipulating to line everything up between the two bolt holes and the slot and the, there it goes, the rib on the rail, the slot and the brace. It's all tight tolerant, so it just takes a little bit of wiggling to get everything lined up where it's supposed to be. Then you'll take your bump stop off of your factory rail brace and put that on the new rail brace. Again, the factory comes with a Torx head, and my personal sled here, we've replaced it with a normal Phillips head stainless screw, just for convenience of wrenching on it all the time. But on your sled, you'll have a T20 screw, so we'll go ahead and we'll use the T20s. So you can put that bump stop back where it belongs. Actually, you want to take the screw and just start it first. Makes it easier. Screw that in until the screw is sticking through the other side. You can just push it too. You don't have to actually turn it, but it's just a tight rubber connection here. Start that. All right, both of those are through. Then you can put it on the rail brace until it catches. And tighten both of these down. Just tighten until that rubber starts to squash a little bit. All right, and again, so we have the front bolt in, we'll put the back bolt in. And then once you have the back bolt in, Tighten those wrench tight, nice and snug. And then you can go ahead and put your hook, install your hook. Same deal, you got your stainless nut. Wind that on, put your lock washer on. Then you have these 3 holes here. 3 holes is just a little bit of room for adjustment. It's your personal preference, really. I usually go with the middle hole. Wind that in as far as it goes. And then we're gonna back it out until it's straight up. Tighten that nut. And then you can store your ice scratcher, just like that. So that's the install of the one rig scratcher on a Polaris Matryx 146 in your 3 different storage options for this year. Any questions, just give us a shout and we'll make sure you're taken care of.